Have you ever wondered whatever happened to that once famous A-list celebrity that was in every blockbuster movie to every commercial on TV, from selling shampoo to dog treats? Well, this is the tale of one such celebrity. In the heart of Hollywood, there existed a mansion like no other. It was known as the Celebrity Asylum. In its heyday, this grand mansion served as the backdrop for early silent silver screen movies. It earned the ominous nickname Pneumonia Hall due to the persistent drafts and creaking floorboards, which lent the place an eerie, haunted atmosphere. But those who spent more than a single night within its decaying walls soon realized that the mansion held more than a mere feeling of spookiness. As the years passed, the mansion fell into disrepair and was slated for demolition in 1929. Its dilapidated state seemed to symbolize the end of an era. However, during the late autumn of that fateful year, a peculiar and exceptionally wealthy psychoanalyst, Dr. Evelyn Maddox, stepped in to rescue it from the wrecking ball. The mansion, a sprawling estate surrounded by tall hedges and wrought iron gates, was the brainchild of a mysterious benefactor known only as X. Rumor had it that Mr. X himself was once a legendary star, but his identity remains hidden behind layers of secrecy. Dr. Maddox, driven by a unique fascination with both the history of the place and the human mind, was determined to preserve this enigmatic mansion and strive forward with her research. She believed that its eerie ambiance could serve as an unconventional backdrop for her therapeutic methods, a haven for the famous who often struggled with their mental well-being. A year had passed since the opening of Celebrity Asylums. Many stars had come to stay through the year. The mansion had continued its mission of providing refuge and healing for fallen stars. Among its residents, there was one who had once been the jewel in Hollywood's crown, Tony Buckala, a legendary actor who had graced the silver screen and collected every prestigious award in the world of acting. From adoring fans, wide-eyed children to the most glamorous women and men aspiring to his charisma, Tony was the epitome of stardom. But fame could be a fickle companion, and it had taken its toll on Tony. The relentless spotlight had stripped away the layers of his true self. In the quest for adulation and success, he had lost something vital along the way. There was a space to be filled in his soul. Tony Buckala, the superstar, had become a carefully crafted character he played both on and off the screen. To the world, he was the embodiment of charm, confidence, and charisma. But behind the facade, he struggled with the heavy weight of his own creation. But now, at his lowest ebb, Tony found himself standing at the threshold of the asylum, a grand yet eerie house with an aura of mystique. As he gazed upon the mansion's imposing facade, a strange sense of trepidation mingled with the profound loss he felt. It was as if his life, once the epitome of success, had unraveled into nothingness. Tony's journey to this mysterious place had been a twist of fate. A solitary walk along the rugged cliffs of the Pacific had led him to the mansion. It was almost as if the mansion had called out to him, beckoning him with an unseen force. Upon returning home that evening, Tony found himself consumed by thoughts of the mansion perched on the hill's edge. For a week it loomed large in his mind, an enigmatic presence that he couldn't shake. Then one morning serendipity intervened. A flyer about the Celebrity Asylum and its unique services arrived at his doorstep. It outlined how they offered assistance to Hollywood's elite, and the mansion's allure beckoned to him once more. Without hesitation, he picked up the phone, eager to explore this newfound opportunity. As luck would have it, the operator on the other end of the line informed him that a vacancy had recently become available. Tony could attend if he so wished. The timing felt almost surreal, as if the universe itself was guiding him toward a path of transformation and rediscovery. As he approached the entrance, there was an indescribable sensation of welcome and belonging. It was a feeling he hadn't experienced in years, a rush of passion and raw emotion, the very essence of acting. In the shadow of this enigmatic mansion, Tony sensed a part of himself that had long been dormant, stirring to life. His heart blazed with a flame that had long been extinguished, rekindled by the enigmatic promise of the mansion on the hill. It was as if, in that moment, he could feel the warmth of his lost passion returning, dispelling the cold emptiness that had haunted him for so long. As Tony approached the main foyer, a sense of anticipation enveloped him, reminiscent of the excitement that permeated the air on Oscars night. The mansion's exterior radiated an opulent and inviting ambiance. Although he couldn't see a soul around, he could unmistakably sense the presence of actors and fans alike in the entrance courtyard, as though he were being warmly embraced by the very spirit of the place. Once inside the foyer, Tony discovered that the grandeur of the mansion didn't cease. It continued to unfold, wrapping him in its luxurious embrace. The opulence extended beyond the entrance, filling the hallways and rooms with an air of timeless elegance. Tony was warmly greeted at the reception desk, which felt more akin to the opulent welcome of a grand hotel. The receptionist, a woman of such stunning beauty that she could easily be a leading lady in her own right, received his details with a gracious smile. Tony couldn't resist a compliment, to which she blushed and gracefully accepted. She assured him that Dr. Maddox would join him shortly. Then the moment arrived. Dr. Maddox entered the scene, a stark paradox amidst all the beauty and grandeur. She stood there, dressed in a plain white lab coat that almost seemed out of place in this palace of elegance. It was a momentary disruption of the spell woven by the mansion's splendor. But with a keen understanding of the atmosphere, Dr. Maddox quickly put Tony at ease once more. Tony's room was a spacious sanctuary, complete with a balcony that overlooked the lush grounds. It felt as luxurious as any penthouse suite in an upscale hotel. The tranquility of the space was palpable, and the view from the balcony was a breathtaking panorama of the surrounding hills. Dr. Maddox left Tony in his room and kindly suggested, "You can start by unpacking your belongings, Tony." Tony looked around, a hint of uncertainty in his eyes, and replied, "I didn't bring any belongings." Dr. Maddox smiled warmly and assured him, "Not to worry, Mr. Buckala, we have that covered. You'll find everything you need in the wardrobe, and there are some clothes, more suitable for your stay, laid out on the bed." As Tony changed, the afternoon seamlessly transitioned into night. The full, bright moon cast its radiant light through the open balcony doors, illuminating Tony like a spotlight on the stage during his early years in the theater. There was an unmistakable aura to the atmosphere, something that Tony couldn't quite put his finger on, yet he found himself unable to resist its pull. He felt the urge to sing, to perform. In the moonlight, he turned his attention to the dressing table, which was bathed in a soft, backlit glow, reminiscent of standing in front of the grandest mirror on a film set, preparing for a day of makeup and transformation. The sensation was uncanny, as if the mansion itself was urging him to prepare for a profound performance. Tony received a call for the evening meal, and 2 members of the staff, dressed in their white lab coats like Dr. Maddox, accompanied him from his room to the dining hall. The journey was akin to a royal procession, and the grandeur of the dining hall only heightened the sensation. It was a room that could rival a royal banquet. And in that moment, Tony felt like a king. He couldn't help but slip into the role with ease, as if it were the character he had always been meant to play. However, as the months passed, the lines between reality and performance began to blur for Tony. The mansion's spellbinding atmosphere, once a source of rejuvenation, seemed to be gradually consuming him. Each act he played out became less of a choice and more of a compulsion. He could no longer distinguish where the performance ended and his true self began. His fans and the staff, who once celebrated his every move, now looked on with concern, as Tony's acting took on an unsettling intensity. It was as if the house itself demanded an unending performance. Tony, once a master of the stage, began to feel like a puppet in the hands of an unseen puppeteer. The realization slowly dawned on him that perhaps he was losing his grip on reality, that the mansion had a hold on him that he couldn't break. The question of whether he would ever leave the house again hung over him like a dark cloud, casting a shadow on the once joyful performances. Tony was trapped in a never-ending act, and the audience was no longer his adoring fans. He realized that the fans who came to see him were his family and friends, who came less and less as the house took over his soul more and more. But the more he talked about it, the more medication was prescribed, and Dr. Maddox took more observations, and the looser his grip on himself became. With each passing day, Tony's certainty deepened. He was never going to leave the celebrity asylum. It became increasingly clear that this was the final destination for all those once-loved celebrities, a place where they faded from the screens and stages of the world, never to be seen again on the big screen. He had become a has-been. The end. We hope you'll return for more spine-tingling stories in the future of the Tales of the Unknown, and where wishes come true and nightmares become real.